Hi, it's me, Daphne. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have a collaboration with some really cool booktubers where we're gonna be giving you recommendations of hate to love / rivals to lovers. So I'm gonna link all their stuff in the description. For my book recommendations, I'm gonna be going through in order of like most intense hate to love to like the less intense hate to love, and mixing in the intensity of rivals to lovers as well. So to start off, I'm going to recommend the Horsemen series, the entire series. This is a 4-book collection, and they are all paired up with human women. And for obvious reasons, these women hate the Horsemen because the Horsemen are bringing death and destruction and the apocalypse to Earth. So a very perfect hate to love series overall. I really enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. The formula, I'd say, for the first 3 are pretty similar, but the 4th one with the death is my favorite. Just imagine like this sexy man. I mean, I'm gonna have the cover up, but like he's sexy. He's got like these glowing tattoos and these huge gorgeous wings, like angel wings, like that are black, and like it's romance, so like the stakes are high, but like it's romance. The stakes aren't ever really that high. But a lot of people do die in the books for sure because it's the apocalypse. And the hate is really intense. So if you like seeing that transition, perfect for that. The next book I'm gonna recommend is Does It Hurt? And this book, to say the least, is very unhinged. So this starts out where our main heroine, I don't remember anybody's name, but she's on the run for some reason that you don't know yet. So she meets this guy and they kind of hit it off. He's not really looking for a relationship. He's like one of those guys that's like, I don't kiss because it's too intimate, la, 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 but I will like sleep with you. And he's like that kind of guy. This book is very toxic, but it's entertaining. They have like a night together, and then she ends up stealing his credit card because she's on the run. Like her identity needs to be hidden. She's like stealing people's identity and stuff. And he finds out and he's really pissed off about it, understandably. So he's like trying to get revenge on her, and they end up like stranded on this island due to circumstances, which isn't that spoilery because it's fairly early in the beginning and it's kind of the premise of the whole book. But he's like so mad. He like hates her guts now, and he's like basically trying to like make her life miserable and like torture her, even though they're already in this horrible situation. Because she stole his credit card, and she didn't even spend that much money on it, to be fair. But, I mean, I'm like criticizing it a little bit, but it's like ridiculous, but it's also really, really fun. I gave it 4 stars. If you just want like a crazy, unhinged, silly, entertaining, wild, like just watch the world burn kind of moment where you're just like, what is happening? But I'm like fascinated kind of book, this might do it for you. He hates her guts, but for some reason they fall in love. So perfect, again, for this trope. Next, I'm gonna recommend Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. This is a hate to love for sure. So these 2 characters used to be like childhood pen pals. They've been writing to each other for a few years. This is like technically a high school romance, but both characters are 18. Penelope's like toeing the line a little bit, but it's fine. They're legal, at least in my opinion. I'll let it slide. Our hero finds out the true identity of his pen pal because they had like agreed when they were younger never to like reveal their true identities to keep the magic alive of this like pen pal relationship. So he accidentally finds out who she really is, and she doesn't seem to be like the person he's been writing to this whole time. He thinks she's very fake and very mean. She's like this popular cheerleader kind of girl, and she doesn't feel like the girl next door that he's been writing to this whole time. He has like other agenda stuff going on. There's like this underlying mystery and stuff, but he like hates her now, and while he's like trying to do his own thing, he ends up moving and like going to her school and like just trying to make her life miserable, but he's also like super attracted to her, so there's like all this pining and like hating each other and like can't resist each other. Penelope Douglas, there's just something magical in her books. I don't know what it is, but it works, so I need to read more of them. Next, I'm gonna recommend an oldie, and that's Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren. Obviously, Christina Lauren's a pretty well-known name, but they're like kind of fade to blackish lately, very contemporary. Like, I'm not gonna read their books these days, but their older stuff was really good, and Beautiful Bastard is one of them. So this is an office romance. It's like a high executive kind of guy and his secretary. Is she his secretary? I'm pretty sure she's his secretary, but they hate each other. Well, okay, to be fair, she hates him because he treats her like shit, and he hates her because he finds her like so attractive that it's distracting. So he's like a jerk to her on purpose. Like, this kind of immature. but men, right? Like men. And then it's them like finally giving into this attraction, and they just like go to town all over the office. And it's not a novella, so it's like more complex. I feel like the plot is pretty good, and like their evolution into getting to know each other and like stop hating each other, and just like the hate sex in it is just so fun. It was like one of the first office romances I've probably read, and I reread it like 1,000 times. Next, I'm gonna recommend Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. This is an amnesia romance. Also, this is a POC author with a POC heroine and a white hero. Just FYI, for context. Because the cover is just like a white guy. But if you're like looking for diverse reads, this also counts. This is a marriage in trouble story because our hero cheated on his wife, and then he gets in a car accident and forgets like the last 5 or so years. So he thinks he's still madly in love with his wife, and he's so confused when he sees her at the hospital and she's not being like affectionate towards him and stuff. He's like, what's going on? And she's shocked because she's like, dude, we hate each other because of the shit we've gone through lately. And it's their story like trying to repair the damage that has been done, and you kind of discover like what really happened, like why did he cheat on her, and it's our heroine trying to decide if she wants to give him a second chance or not. So yeah, understandably she hates him because he cheated on her. The next recommendation I have for you is Tattered Stars, and the hate aspect comes in with the hero because he hates the heroine. So the heroine is the daughter of this man who kidnapped the hero's sister when they were younger, so when the heroine was maybe like 10 or so. But the heroine was not involved with this kidnapping at all, right? She actually, as a little girl, like rode on her horse out of the mountainside, and this isn't a spoiler because this is like the first scene in the book, and rides through the mountains to get to the small town nearby and report her father to the police saying that he's kidnapped this missing girl. But our hero still hates her because of her association with that man. He just puts a lot of blame on her. He's shocked that she like has come back to town. She like left town when the incident happened, and it's their story. So there's a lot of like underlying thriller-esque, not even, there's a bit of underlying suspense aspects in this book. If you're looking for some kind of suspense romance, this series is pretty good for that. I've only read the first one so far, but I do want to continue. There's a lot of characters that you get to know. But yeah, he really hates her in the beginning and then realizes he loves her. The next one I'm gonna brush over pretty quickly. This is the 6th book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. It's called Barbarian's Mate. And I liked this one a lot. This was probably my favorite one in the series because this couple has been kind of teased for a while. You get to see like little snippets of the setup throughout the previous 5 books. I don't remember their names. I think the main heroine's name is Josie, but she like hates this Ice Planet Barbarian guy because he's just so grumpy. He's always making everybody else's lives like harder, and like he's just not a likable guy. But she ends up resonating to him, which is basically like this mate bond thing. It just like starts happening for them like later on. Like they've known each other for like a year or so. Like she's been on this planet for a while. And she's so devastated. She's like, why am I resonating to this a-hole? And it's them trying to like, well, it's mainly her trying to resist him because he's like an alien, and he's like, okay, I know we're mates. Like, I'm not gonna fight it, but she's like, I don't wanna be with you. So she really hates him, and just the pining and just like the slow burn kind of it all, and it was steamy and it was fun. I think by far it's my favorite one in the series. So if you've read a couple of Ice Planet Barbarians, like I definitely recommend getting to the 6th one. If you haven't started it, they're really short and they're just fun. They're good like palate cleansers. It's a silly fun time. Why not? So the next book I'm gonna recommend is probably the last one I'd consider like hate, and then we're gonna go into more of like the rival / really dislike section. And this one is called Fair Catch. So this is a sports romance, and the hate aspect comes in because the heroine despises the hero since he allegedly was driving when there was a car accident and her brother was in the car with him and got severely injured. He ended up becoming a wheelchair user, and she rightfully has a lot of hurt in her heart about it. The brother doesn't have any issues with the guy, like they're best friends. He's still best friends with him, like he doesn't hold anything against him, but the sister doesn't. Like the sister's still pissed. The sister agreed to take over her brother's dream of like going to college to play football and stuff, so she ends up being a kicker and gets recruited to this college, and the hero, the guy that she hates, is also recruited to the same school. So it's their romance and their story and the pining and just the steamy bits, and it was just a really fun new adult story where you get to see the truth come out a little bit more. You empathize with people a little bit more, you know, seeing characters grow and to talk things out and really see true characters versus just taking one horrible night and like judging somebody on it, you know? Wow, that was kind of deep. Next, I have a True Rivals to Lovers, a classic, and it's from Lukov with Love. This is a Mariana Zapata, so expect extreme slow burn. This is a figure skating romance. So both the heroine and the hero are like pretty much professional figure skaters. She hates this guy. He's just like very talented, but also a bit arrogant. It's only written from one perspective, from the female's perspective, so things slowly become revealed about how the hero truly feels about her, and I just love that because like slowly finding out the truth about how somebody feels is just so fun. And in this book you get to see a lot of like the life of figure skating, and it's just really entertaining, and the pining and just everything. And Mariana Zapata also has that special magic. She's just like so well known for her slow burn. So if you're in the mood for a slow burn, like she's a perfect go-to for that. Next, I have the funniest book I'd say on this list, which is The Hating Game. I don't remember too much about it, but it's another office place romance, and I just remember like the first couple pages had me literally laughing out loud. So these two are like secretaries to the CEOs of these two separate companies that recently just merged together. So the two CEOs are kind of like battling it out for power. So the two secretaries are kind of battling it out as well. And it's the heroine and the hero, and they just have like these silly little games against each other while they like stare across the aisle at each other. And it's just so silly and childish, the antics they get up to, but it's so funny. And she hates his guts. This is another book where it's told only from her perspective, I'm pretty sure. So again, it's like the hero has these feelings towards the heroine that she has no idea about, and seeing her slowly discover the truth about all the pining and stuff is just super fun. It's just like, oh, he hates me, but like, has he ever really hated you? You know, I just love that. So the next one is The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy. This is a fantasy. The hate to love aspect comes in because there's just like this weird dynamic between the two characters. Like they just did not start off on the right foot. They had a bad first impression of each other. So they both like mutually dislike each other, but they're forced to interact with each other a lot because of professional reasons, you know? Mercy works as an undertaker, and Hart is like, I don't even know, he's like a zombie hunter kind of, and he takes these zombie bodies to her. And it's also like a letter writing, unknown identity kind of thing, and they like slowly fall in love over letters. Again, it's just really just learning about that other person and understanding like, oh, do I really hate this person, or did I hate what I thought about this person, like my misunderstanding about this person? You know, do I need to give this person a real chance and get to know who they truly are? So. And then the last book I'll talk about is Book Lovers, another classic like rivals to lovers, professional rivals between I think she's like an agent and a publisher or something, but she hates him because he like tore apart this book she was trying to promote. He was like, this is terrible. I'm not gonna buy this. I don't wanna publish this, you know? So she really hates his guts, but they end up taking vacation to the same small town, and she gets to know him better, and it's going from that rivals to strong dislike situation to really getting to know somebody again. So fun times. It's not my favorite Emily Henry book, but it works for this tropes list. All right, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I'd greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. If you want to hang out with me some more, you can find me on Instagram at being.daphne. That's all I have for today's video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!